Alright, it's time to put this one to rest, I think. So, I made a video called Gang Stalk Hammering, and K-Star here is commenting on my video, and she's saying, because in my video I'm talking about banging and abhorrent banging and offbeat gang stalk hammering. And she was saying that just as she's dozing off to sleep and she's, in a beautiful mountainous region, so it sounds, not super busy or something like that. And I thought her comment's perfect, so I've got to use your comment here, K-Star, because this is perfect for my explanation. It's something I've thought now for over a year in this context, that everybody is gang stalked, they just don't know it. And what I mean by everyone is obviously not the organic portal, because they're the ones doing the gang stalking, but I mean every soul human, even if they're asleep, if they're still super sleepy, super inured to the matrix, doesn't matter, they're still gang stalked. It's just the difference is that we realize our gang stalking and they don't. And you can see kind of K-Star sort of becoming aware of this in this comment as well. So let's read through it. I'm not saying she's sleepy, it's just, she just didn't have the information. That doesn't mean you're asleep, that just means you didn't have the information or the realization. We all go through epiphanies every day. So yeah, not saying you're asleep, by the way, just saying that this is a perfect example of the realization of that you're being gang stalked. And let's read through it. So after my video, which is on gang stalk hammering and about the noises, I just thought of this after your video. She's in the process of relocating to a mountainous region. I'm staying in a really big home off of a lake all alone. So you see what I mean? It doesn't seem a busy place. And her life doesn't seem surrounded by people or anything even, right? And this is going to become relevant in a few seconds, okay? So remember I said that. Almost every single night, right as I am dozing off, there is always some big, huge bang somewhere in this MFing house. Sometimes right under my bed. It startles me awake, and then my adrenaline is flowing for an hour or more. And I said here, yeah, that adrenaline, they're pushing it, they're pressing for that. It's part of the Luciferian, heightened hormonal content energy extraction. And, you can mention archons and all this too. And shortening our lifespan. Alright, let's go back to her comment. So yeah, it startles her and gets the adrenaline flowing for an hour or more. And that's right. I noticed this, that they get your adrenaline flowing and the lowering of you into, your pain body and lower contextualizing you out of the dream state and so on. Of course, several times a week I'm up checking the house with my 9 after this happens, and I'm just so sick of it. I have to dismiss negative energy on the regular because I know it's there. So she's actually sensing something as well. And yeah, I've gotten that before. And we're going to talk about this in a second. I never really considered myself gang stalked. You see what I'm saying? She's not asleep. That's not what's being shown here, but she just never considered that she's being gang stalked, because why should she be? She knows she isn't, Benjamin Kallenberg from consciousazine.net, going hard on expressing all this information or something. So why is she, going to consider herself gang stalked? She doesn't have to. Doesn't seem like, and in her sphere, and I'd be thinking the same. Anyway, although I've had many encounters with OPs, but now I'm thinking I am gang stalked, but not by these soulless effers or the organic portals. They're after me, I admit, when this... Yeah, okay. So she's saying... She's thinking now she's gang stalked, but not by the OPs. And now I want to get into this, my explanation of this. That's right, you'll get the unseen gang stalking. And that's why I wanted to make this video, and I have been wanting to make this video for the last couple of weeks, and then I saw this comment and I thought, okay, now's the time, so I've got to do this right now. So it's that everybody who is a soul will be being gang stalked. Guys, it's the rapture. It's the rapture, for Christ's sake, you know what I mean? It's the apocalypse. It's here. It's now. It isn't in 10 years from now. It isn't in 20 years from now. It's here right now. We're going through it now, right? So, what depictions do you get from a rapture or an apocalypse? Do you see, I don't know, flowers on the hillside and good times with the boys or with the girls? No, you probably picture demons flying around, fire and brimstone, hellious pictures, you know, hell-like scenarios and so on, right? Rupturing of planes and demons and blah, blah, blah. You don't picture, you know, a field of daisies. You know what I mean? So, you know, this is part of the apocalypse, gang stalking, and as we know, this is like demon perpetrated. I have a little video saying, you know, the difference between angel viewing and demonic viewing or gang stalking. You know, it's only a 1-minute video, but I still gave across the idea to you guys that, you know, you can tell the difference between viewing informationally, say, over the whole species, and, you know, helping as versus if someone is stalking you, like, demonically, and, you know, they're not boding for your best life, they don't want to see good for you and so on, right? There's a difference. And it's funny that I've been thinking about this idea for a while, that everybody's gang stalked if they're a soul human, whether they're inured or they know it or not. It doesn't matter. It's just people like me, we're aware of this now because we've pushed so hard to get the light out there, you know, to bring people to awareness, etc., to shine light on things. And so we've pushed so hard that, you know, they've really pushed back on us really hard. And we now have something called gang stalking, which is now, you know, a phrase that we understand. We now have the language so that we can talk about it. So what I wanted to make a point of in this was that she says she's in a big home all by herself, and there's no organic portals in her life there. There's no one in her house by the sound of it, you know, who's an organic portal stuffing around with her or something. So this is unseen. Now we traveling into, you know, entities and, you know, interdimensional, whatever. But we're heading into the unseen, and that is still, it still has pragmatic consequences, even if it's intangible. Like the air you breathe is seemingly almost intangible. I mean, we feel a bit of friction when we're on the bike or in the car, but basically you don't see the air you're breathing, and it's just a really easy example to give you that it still has massive pragmatic effects on your body. Not only is the positive atmosphere rusting your body, but, you know, oxygen is needed for respiration and blah, blah, blah. So there's pragmatic consequences from intangible things, you know. So she's just noticing now the intangible part of this, and it's funny, it's coming up with a bang, and she's getting her adrenaline flowing, and it's still gang stalking, and it's still the same thing, even though there isn't a physical guy like banging with a hammer. That was just my example in the video. But yeah, I wanted to, you know, show this because it can be like this too. And I said in my video, it doesn't have to be a hammer, it can be anything. And this is anything, just random bumps and bangs like this. You know, you might say, oh, ghosts in the night. Well, whatever it is, I'm not saying it's ghosts, I'm just saying whatever it is. And, you know, this seems to me reptilian, by the way, or flyers, if you're a Don Juanian. But yeah, the flying reptilians bouncing off the walls, which are the fourth dimensional entities, like foot soldiers. and disincarnate entities that don't have a time cell body, and there's more you can say. But the point is that this seems to me like a reptilian attack. This is, if you came to me, this is what I would first feel it as. If we talked about it for longer, it may turn out to be something else, but it looks to me exactly like a sort of reptilian in the night attack. And this is the sort of stuff that they do too. And like they do really small things, like a bang. You know what I mean? It's not like they come to your throat with a knife. They just do little annoying things like this that, will definitely change the situation via your emotional state. And it's interesting, it doesn't have to be a physical organic portal person. This is what I wanted to bring this comment up for. It can be, an unseen entity in the night, in the middle of the night. And she does, I have to dismiss negative energy on the regular because I know it's there. So she's clearly sensing, and that's why also I would say it's a reptilian, because they have this horrible negative energy aura, so to speak. They have this horrible negative energy that they have hanging off them, and that is them, basically. And that's their personality. They're lovely people. So the reptilian seems to have, a lot of negative energy, and again, this goes with or correlates with my idea that this is a reptilian attack on her. So see if you can tune into it, K-Star. Go into your trance state very quickly, and well, I hope you can do it quickly because they don't stick around. I've noticed these reptilians are flying around pretty quickly. That's why I think they are the flyers from that Carlos Castaneda reading with Don Juan. Sounds very similar to what I've seen. They jump off the walls and they do big leaps, like 15-foot leaps and so on. And no wonder there's a bang, and you think, well, how come there's a bang Ben if it's an interdimensional entity? Well, somehow they have some sort of ability to play with this dimension. And it does appear that way to me. So, somehow they do this. I'll have to think about it, how to explain it another day in a separate video. But yeah, look, everybody is gang stalked, and look, I'm glad that she's waking up to it like this, or realizing it, so to speak, because it's going to help you come into your own, and realize, okay, well, if I was her, I'd be thinking, well, why am I even gang stalked? What does it even matter? Well, it could even be, what you're going to do in the future. It might not be something you're going to do now, and it seems to me that this is always the case. It's like there's some sort of future knowledge surrounding you, and that's why I have gang stalking so bad. I think it's the case that if you have really bad gang stalking, you're going to do something really big. You're going to make really big change, and I've always known I'm going to make great change, and I seem to be in the midst now of finally, doing that. After I finished university, I'm making consciousazine and I'm making this YouTube channel, and I'm finally getting somewhere. I'm changing people's consciousness, I'm giving realization and epiphany, and I'm heightening awareness, and that's dangerous for the dark family of dark and the dark paradigm. And so they try and stop you, and that's the basics of this, the basics. But yeah, K-Star, it's something you're going to do in the future. It's not necessarily what you're doing right now. So you might be confused. You might be like, why should I be gang stalked? I'm not even Benjamin Kauenberg, I'm not doing anything for awakening anyone, really. I'm doing a few Facebook posts. What's that matter? And I get how you're seeing it, but what I'm trying to say is that there's something to do with the future. And they have cognition, or, they have information on your future somehow. And I've mentioned this before, but it's definitely the case, for sure. I don't know everything about it, but it's definitely the case because I can tell by their actions and how they act. Yeah, so Just looking if there's anything more on here. Yeah. So she said she's alone, you know, like staying in a really big home off of a lake all alone. That's right. This sort of stuff, the entities in the night, they start to come at you if you manage to realize organic portals, right? And you manage to go, okay, I need to get the F out of here. I need to move to some house on the lake and be by myself and chill. And this kind of thing that she's doing here, relocating like this. What I've noticed is when you physically detach from the hive mind of the species, or this hive mind that is corrupted now, it's not that the hive mind of our species is the issue, it's the corrupted nature of that hive mind, or a surface virus nature, which is the problem, not bad guy universe. And I've started explaining that in a few videos already. So when you physically disconnect, what I notice is that's when the next stage comes in. It's like you've gone to a stage 2 in Donkey Kong or something, you know what I mean? You're in a game where there's another stage now of fourth dimensional entities. You've just managed to realize the third dimensional people, you know, the physical people, the organic portal people. And so, you know, you've figured out ways to, conquer that. But then they bring in this angle. This is what I've noticed with myself and other people. Then you get the reptilians. And then if they can't really affect you, you start to get the even bigger entities notice you and take notice of you and, you know, come at you. Then, you know, you can probably work your way all the way up to Lucifer or something, you know what I mean? So this is how it goes, and this is also part of gang stalking. Gang stalking is not just police and private eyes. You know, it's interdimensional entities as well, and there are levels to this, it appears to me. So I just want to put that out there and mention this while I had the chance to, while I saw this comment was pretty perfect for explaining and going over this. So yeah, it looks to me like you're feeling reptilians, and that is a reptilian attack, K-Star, Walker, and yeah, we can talk about that more if you want to, and how to deal with it. Watch your emotions and getting annoyed and angry, because that's how they get me a lot. Just let me see here if I want to go over anything else. Yeah, look, I always notice the adrenaline flowing thing, even if it's just in the street during the day. It's the same thing. They're trying to activate that flight or fight response to shut down the viscera. And I was going to make a video called Organic Portal Viscera Vendetta. It's like they've got a vendetta against your body or something. But this is, you know, the answer to that. It's not just an unknown vendetta. They want to create heightened hormonal content, which is associated with energy stealing and loosh and pain energy. It's part of the psychotronic pain grid that they have you in. Oh boy, do they have you in it. And just remember that the main point of this video was that everybody who is a soul is gang stalked, whether you're aware of it or not. So there's going to be different ways that you're all going to come to awareness about the same thing, and it's called gang stalking, and I suggest you get the word out there about it, because we're only at the start of the apocalypse. It's only just rapturing now. The 2020s, in a few years from now, is going to be bad. It's going to be terrible, man. There's going to be billions and billions of people impoverished. Every nightmare scenario you've ever seen in a movie, all the predictive programming, what do you think they were programming for? Now, the apocalypse. It's all been set up. It's all ready. It's all going to be done by 2030. You're either going to be inured or not. So if you don't know what gang stalking is, and you don't think you are gang stalked, and you're watching my YouTube channel, you're gang stalked for sure. It's just that I'm your first brush with it. It seems that if you're one of those people, I'm just your first brush with it, and you need to go look at everybody's gang stalking videos. I mean, all over YouTube. Because everybody is gang stalked who is a soul during the apocalypse at the end of human history, or the end of human cultural history, I should say, where all the cultures now are like rivers going into the one ocean called humanity. But yeah, that's beside the point. The point is that everybody is gang stalked, right? That's the point of this video. Everybody who is a soul, you are all gang stalked. So if you don't know it, you really need to know it. And why? Well, why, Ben? What does it even matter? I'm happy in my inured job, going to work 9 to 5 every day, and I don't have to have the problems that you and K-Star have. I understand, I get it. You're happy, you're inured, and you're comfortable. But what you're not is existing. You don't exist. After you die, no one will remember anything from you because you didn't give anything to the species. Do you understand why this matters? You're gang stalked to hold you down from doing great work. To hold you down. That has so many, that has so much more meaning than, me just saying it like that. But they're holding you down from great work, from focusing, from increasing your vibration, from increasing your light, from increasing your awareness, and so on and so forth. So that's why it matters, because you're definitely gang stalked. So now you know also why it matters, because it matters for you and the species, yes, but for your great work, for you to have a corpus, for you to exist is the point. When you look back through history, who do you remember? Who were the only people who really matter when you look back now? All the great people who gave us a model of reality, or like a great work, a magnus opus. It didn't have to be Einstein's theory of relativity. It could have been, you could have been Bruce Lee. You could be, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be remembered for for his muscles. But the point, and it could be an artist remembered for a drawing they did. The point is, everybody who is a soul has a great work or a magnus opus to give to the species. And we are the only people who exist, remember? The whole game is for this reason. We are the only things that exist, the soul human. The soulless human, their starlight isn't present in that body yet, or it's something like that. They're not present, they're not aware, they're not conscious, they don't exist, remember? So the point of gang stalking you is to hold you down, to make sure you don't exist.